You have been doing something for years, whether that's cooking, organizing, helping people solve problems, writing, decorating, teaching your kids, and it has never once crossed your mind that somebody would pay you to do it. Not because it's not valuable, but because just nobody ever told you that your experience is an actual monetizable product. So today, I'm going to change that. So there's something I've noticed in talking to women in my age range, around their, late 30s, early 40s. They are loaded with skills from jobs they've had, projects they've dabbled in, problems they've helped people solve out of necessity, hobbies that they've gotten really good at. But then when you ask them a question like, what are you good at? They can't answer, or they just think that whatever it is quite unimpressive. And this couldn't be further from the truth. The most monetizable skills you have are usually the ones that you do without thinking about it. It's the stuff that people specifically call you for. And that's exactly what we're going to dig into today. How to identify those skills, validate them, and then start seeing them as the foundation of a real income. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Asha Mac. Around here, I talk about self-publishing and entrepreneurship so you can monetize what it is that you do. If that sounds like something you need in your life, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Now let's get into it. Yeah, so today we're going to just flip the whole script. We're going to identify the skills that you already have, and then we're going to sort them into some categories that make sense, get some real clarity, and then I'm going to show you exactly how a skill becomes an income stream. No degree, no massive following, and no startup capital required. Let's start with why this is even a problem. Why is it so hard to recognize the value in what we know? So in psychology, there's a concept called the curse of knowledge. It basically means that once you become good at something and once it becomes second nature to you, you forget exactly how it felt to not know it. You just forget that it was ever hard. And because it feels easy to you now, you assume it must be easy for everybody. And it is not easy for everybody. I fall into this trap too. What feels like common sense to you is breakthrough for somebody else. What feels like just getting by is actually like a masterclass in resourcefulness to the person watching you. What feels like you've just been being you, the way you communicate, the way you organize, the way you handle pressure, the way you solve problems, is something other people are genuinely struggling with and actively searching for help with. So let me give you just a few examples of what I mean. If you've ever helped somebody move into a new place and then, kind of help them redecorate it and make it feel like home within a weekend, that is a skill. Interior styling, space planning, the instinct to know what goes where and why. People pay for that. You've probably paid for it. If you've ever been the person that your friends call when they're going through something hard, a breakup, a diagnosis, a bad decision, that they don't know how to walk it back, and you somehow always know what to say, that is a monetizable skill. Life coaching, emotional support content, guided journals, online communities, all built on that one skill. If you've ever had to figure out how to stretch $400 to feed and care for a family for a month, that's a huge skill. Budgeting content, financial planning, meal planning. Someone right now is searching for you on YouTube for exactly that. The question is never, do you have a skill? You do. The question is, which one are you sitting on, and how do we get it out into the world in a form that people will pay for? When I talk about finding your monetizable skills, I point to three specific places, and these are three categories where you are most valuable in your knowledge. The first one is, what are people asking you for help with? You got to think honestly. What do the people in your life come to you for? Not what you wish they came to you for, or you want to think about what they actually call you about. What texts do you get that start with, hey, quick question, or I need advice on something? That pattern is not random. It's your calling. People can see it before you can. This is a market signal. If 5 different people have asked you how you do the same thing, there is an audience of thousands of people who want to know that same thing and don't have a you to call. The second place is what you figured out the hard way. For me, it was self publishing. This one is huge. And it's the one that most people often skip over because it's tied to painful memories, stress. But some of the most powerful, most marketable knowledge came from directly from struggle. You clawed your way out of debt. You rebuilt your life after a relationship ended. You figured out how to navigate a medical system while taking care of somebody you love. You survived a layoff and built something new on the other side. You raised kids in a hard season and came out the other side knowing things you couldn't have learned any other way. That hard won knowledge is exactly what someone behind you on the same road is desperately searching for. They don't need an expert with credentials. They need someone who has actually been in the trenches and walked the road. They need you. The third place is what you've done professionally, even informally. And I want you to think beyond job titles, because job titles are limiting. Think about tasks. Think about what you actually did day to day. Did you manage someone else's calendar or keep an entire office running? That's operations and administration. Did you train new employees or onboard people into systems? That's instructional design and coaching. Did you write emails for your boss who couldn't find the right words? That's copywriting. Did you handle angry customers and de-escalate situations before they blew up? That's conflict resolution and communication. Did you run social media or small business? Even if your title said something else entirely, that is exactly what digital marketing is. Every one of those tasks has a market, and every one of them is something a small business owner, a content creator, or an entrepreneur is willing to pay someone to do or teach them how to do it themselves. So this is the part where I actually need you to participate. You can watch the video and nod along and feel inspired for a little while and then go back to your regular life. Or you can do this one exercise right now and walk away with something real, some kind of an idea. So I need you to grab a notebook, grab your notes app, grab the back of an envelope. It doesn't matter. Just write something down because this only works if you make it tangible. I have 5 questions. You need to answer all of them. Don't overthink it. Don't edit yourself. Just write whatever comes up first. Question number 1, what have I been paid to do ever in any capacity? This includes every job, every single gig, every favor someone slipped you money for. Babysitting counts, braiding hair counts, helping someone with their taxes definitely counts. Write them all down. Question number 2 is what do I teach other people, even casually? Think about the last time you showed someone how to do something, walk someone through a process, explain something in a way that finally made it click for them. What was that thing? It could be knitting, it could be anything. Question number 3 is what problem have I solved in this last year? Big ones, small ones, practical ones, emotional ones. What did you fix? What did you figure out or navigate that someone else around you couldn't? Question number 4, what would I do all day if money weren't a factor? It's my favorite question. Don't say nothing. You wouldn't do nothing. What would you actually spend your time on if pressure was off? That's the sweet spot. Question number 5 is what do people compliment me on the most? Not what you wish they would compliment you on or you hope one day. What do they actually say? What do people think what do they come back to you for? Now, here's what I want you to do with your answers. Look for overlap. Look for the thing or the things that show up in more than one answer. The skill that you've been paid for and that people come to you about and that you would do for free, that overlap is not a coincidence. That is your zone, your calling. That is where you are supposed to start. Okay, so now that you've got a skill, or maybe you've got a few different skills, the next question is obvious. And so, what do you actually do with it, right? And this is where people often just kind of stop because they get confused or whatever, because they know what they're good at, but they can't picture how it actually becomes money. So let's make that bridge really clear and really simple. Every single skill falls into one of two income formats, and the format you choose depends on how that skill naturally expresses itself out of you. If your skill teaches something, if you know how to do something, you can show someone else how to do it. That becomes an ebook, a guide, an online course, a workshop, a YouTube channel, a newsletter, a Zoom call. You are literally doing that right now by watching this video. Someone decided to teach what they know, and here you are learning from me. If your skill creates something, if you make things, design things, write things, build things, that becomes a freelance service or a digital product. You can sell what you make, or you can sell your ability to make it for someone else. If your skill solves a specific problem, if you're the person people turn to when things are broken or complicated or overwhelming, that becomes a consulting offer, a coaching package, or a done for you service. You're essentially renting out your brain, and people will pay well for that. And if your skill organizes, plans, or simplifies, if you have a system, a method, a way of doing things that creates some order for people, that becomes a template or a planner, a workbook, a spreadsheet, or some kind of toolkit. Digital products like these are something like that can build a massive income stream because you make it once and then you sell them indefinitely. All right, now I want you to look at your skill audit and I want you to pick one. Don't pick all of them or a few, just pick one. Pick one skill, one specific format, and a starting point. Because the huge mistake here is trying to build everything at once and then you end up with nothing because you can't be great at all of it all at the same time. One is enough to start. Actually one is actually how you get everything started. So before I let you go, and if you're still here, you're the real MVP. Please drop a hand wave emoji in the comments below. I want to leave you with this. There was a point in my life where I genuinely did not believe that what I knew was worth anything. I didn't have the credentials I thought I needed. I didn't have the background I thought people who were successful had. But I had experience, I had skills, I had a whole life's worth of figuring things out, but none of that felt like money or like valuable. And what shifted for me was not some big dramatic moment. It was just a little realization that people making money from their knowledge were not necessarily the most qualified people in the room. They're just the ones who decided to try and share what they know. They stopped waiting for somebody to give them permission and they just started. That is the whole reason for this channel, because I want you to stop waiting. I want you to look at your life and everything you've survived, everything you've mastered, and I want you to see it for what it is. It's a whole solid foundation. It's a starting point. It is money left sitting on the table. If this video gave you just even one little light bulb moment, one skill you hadn't thought about, or one idea you hadn't considered, do me a favor and give this video a thumbs up. It takes 2 seconds and it genuinely helps this channel reach more women who need to hear this. And then drop a comment. Tell me, what is that one skill that you came up with during this audit and the one thing that you circled? I read every single comment and I would love to know what came up for you. Your next step after this video is figuring out exactly how to take that skill and turn it into an actual product, something you can sell. I have a video on exactly that somewhere around this video. Go watch it. And until next time, be blessed.